So Magesh, chapter 8 of your book, Winning by Design, talks about building strong relationships with clients. In my opinion, I've known you for a number of years now. I've always said this. I think one of your strongest assets, right? The strongest thing about you is your ability to build strong relationships. So have you always been like this? That means from the day that you joined, you realized right away that relationships is the key to your success? Or was it something that you learned along the way?
It is something I learned along the way. I mean,
Mm,
I am who I am, right?
mm,
I never fake the way I behave with my clients,
mm,
right? But along the way, I've realized it wasn't my knowledge or my closing technique that actually got me the case
mm,
or the sale in the long run.
mm,
It was actually my relationship with them has come to a point, right? I realized when I spend 1 hour with them, actually it's the 5 minutes or 10 minutes is what we are actually spending time on closing the deal.
mm,
The 15 minutes is all about building relationship. You're just talking about anything and everything under the sun,
mm,
but that is what caused the last 10 minutes,
mm,
right? And as I grew longer into my career, it's no more about presentation. When I first started, I used to carry a thick file of newspaper articles and everything about why I felt will convince them. Then eventually the file disappeared. Then my presentation kit disappeared. Eventually it just went like, I came here because of XYZ. Oh, okay, Mahesh, just tell me where to sign, right?
yeah.
It's because the relationship is the key for you to be successful in the long run.
Hmm, very true. So, what is a component of the relationship that you're really building? Is it trust?
All relationships can only be built on trust.
Okay.
Maybe I can give you this example, you'll understand,
Mm,
right? Jensen Huang, right, who's
mm,
the CEO of NVIDIA today,
mm,
right? The whole group is the youngest founders in the world today, right? You know how NVIDIA started?
mm,
His ex-boss called him one day just to find out what he has been up to. So when he went there and told them, I'm creating this chip for a gaming chip, and it's a market that never existed before, right? He's
mm,
not competing with anybody. The boss just looked at him and said, this is the worst elevator pitch I've ever heard from any founder. But you wait. He called Don Valentine, who was the most sought after venture capitalist in Wall Street,
mm,
and said, hey, you know what? There's this guy I'm sending over. He's the most trustworthy guy I've ever met and my best employee. Just give him the money he needs. He went over and he got the money. And when Jensen Huang says in the interview, he said, most important is you must have a good relationship wherever you have been. His good past of that having a good relationship was the key difference in getting him to where he is today. It wasn't his product, wasn't his company, wasn't about the system. The relationship he had with his boss,
mm,
who he did not know will channel him to the actual person who will fund his projects.
mm,
So wherever you are, you can't be like talking to a client in a way just to close a client.
mm.
Your client will be smart enough to realize that what you're up to,
Yep.
right? But when you keep building relationship and along the way you talk about your product or it will happen
Mm,
because it's by the way.
yep. There's a principle I remember reading a long time ago that people buy people first, products and services come second. And I
Right.
think this is an illustration of that, where if we can build a trust with people and have a good relationship, what we sell is just a byproduct of the relationship.
Right.
Yeah, perfect. So, what are some of the things that you do to build relationship with your clients?
Whenever my client gets hospitalized, I send them a personalized hamper,
Mm,
right? And there's an interesting incident. There was once my client whose husband and brother were admitted in the same hospital at the same time. The brother was not my client, right? He had another advisor. So I sent a hamper to my client, who is my client's husband, right?
mm,
So the other client felt left out. And my client actually called me Mahesh, would you mind if I share that Godiva chocolate you sent in my hamper with my brother-in-law? I said, go ahead, it's your hamper. But you see the difference. And he will feel like, oh, what he thought was his entitlement came to be, oh my God, I'm so privileged I actually got it because there's another guy in the hospital who didn't get the hamper. So it's the small, small things we make a difference. And I think I've said it in another video. I give personalized cards, right? And sometimes I do send clients on certain days like wedding anniversary. How many people remember wedding anniversary, right? And I do send cards to some of my clients' kids for all the best for exams. See, it's a small act, but it goes a long way, right? And I think I've shared before too. I give cakes end of the year. I make brownies for my clients' kids, and I make no sugar cakes for my diabetic clients. I make vegan cakes for my vegan clients, right? And it takes a lot of effort, right?
Yep.
And when you give it to them on a casual note and have a conversation where we don't talk about business, it leaves a very big impact in their lives.
And I take it you don't do all this with the intent to close a sale, right? This is just done to build that relationship and to add value to the other person's life.
Correct, because I am doing it not because of some plan I have in my mind. It comes from the heart. Because I am who I am today because of them. Right? See, you can't, everything cannot be equated to dollars and cents,
Yep.
right? Right? But eventually, in the end, when you really need that success, these are the same people who would have already weighed you up and sized you up and will help you when you really need it.
So you've been in the industry for a long time. You've seen a lot of planners out there, right? What do you think are the top 3 mistakes that people make when they're trying to build relationship?
They force it upon a client. Number
Okay.
one, they force it upon a client. Like I got one agent who told me, Magesh, for Deepavali, I send clients sweets, expensive sweets. But the client, after 2-3 months later, Magesh, the client don't really want to buy from me. So I'm like, do you think you take your client for a fool? Just one sweets, one box of sweets is going to make them go like, oh, you know, I'm ready to buy from you. Just come tell me where to sign. No, it's about consistency. Are you there in their life every quarter, one way or another? Are you doing something out of the box for them? Right? Are you adding value? Only if you add value to someone, they're going to be ready to add value to you. Right? That is one. And two, they think that agents feel that they are entitled to the cases.
Okay.
They're entitled, like, I'm their agent. Why can't they just buy from me? Right? You see, I always get this from a lot of advisors. My client wants to compare products. I said, I don't have that issue. Because my client always knows if I get from another competitor who might, let's say, only by premium size, is a bit cheaper, but I won't get the service from Magesh.
Very interesting. So you share some strategies in this chapter itself on how people can build strong relationships with their clients. Can you maybe share 1 or 2 strategies?
Make sure you are more than their trusted advisor.
Okay.
Go beyond the service of sales. It's a very important strategy. My clients, they want to buy a car, they ask me, Magesh, is this a good deal? Right? They want to go overseas, they ask me, Magesh, this is how to plan the itinerary. It's all available online. But because I've always traveled, they feel Magesh will have my interests at heart. He will give me a schedule which the websites don't understand. Right? So go beyond your service.
Okay.
Right? Second, be consistent. Be consistent. Make sure you are there adding value as regular as possible. That does not mean you have to spend money all the time. It could be a simple thing as having your own broadcast, WhatsApp broadcast with your client. Every 2 weeks once, send them an interesting article that comes out from the paper, like how to reduce the habits of using phone for your kids. It's an article in a paper, right?
Mm.
Send it to your clients. Have the communication. Hey, hi, Magesh, thank you for sending me this article. That's it. They remember you,
Mm.
right? Every quarter, send them something like a birthday card's there, a festive card is there. I always send my client vouchers in the beginning of the year to celebrate my success from Jack's Place or Swenson's, a whole 3-course meal or 5-course meal voucher for the whole family,
Mm.
right? So when they're going out for a meal, they thank me and they think about me, right? Stuff like that. Just be consistent. Don't do it one year, and if you're not going to do it the following year, then your client will clearly know you did the one particular year for your own selfish gains.
Mm.
So do what you think you can do within your capacity on a consistent basis.
Great. I think the biggest takeaway for me from this whole conversation has been the importance of that consistent effort that you're putting in with your client so that it doesn't come across that you're only there when you want something from them. You are there for them, whether there's something in it for you or not.
Correct.
Perfect. Magesh, thank you so much for all the insights that you have shared today. Is there anything else that you would like to share about this chapter?
See, building relationship is not only for sales, Jit, right? Your whole life, just make sure you treat people nicely and keep building relationships, because you will never know how that person can add value in the future, and you will never ever know who that person is linked to and can introduce you to,
Mm.
right? Kindness begets kindness, right?
Yep.
So instead of be yourself and just be nice to people and keep being build consistent relationships with them. And that will be the key for your sustainable success in the long run in whatever career or industry you're in.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Magesh, for all your sharing.
Thank you, Jim.